We're done with the run. What a beautiful morning to be out. It was perfect running conditions. All the kids did a great job. It was great to come out and support our wonderful teachers who we love and admire so much. And we love this community, and we can't wait to do it again next year. Hopefully we'll get all the kids out running because they did such a spectacular job. But all in all, a beautiful morning, and can't argue with the music and coffee and ice cream for the kiddos, so it was a great morning.
They're behind you! Someone get him water! You can do it! Yeah!
meeting of the Oregon Public Library Board to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Stata.
Here.
Nelson. Here. Goplin. Here. Beschen. Here. Bergstrom. Here. Bonsonfield.
Here.
And Reese.
Thank you, Laura. I would entertain a motion to adopt or amend the agenda as presented today.
I make a motion to adopt.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carly. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We have an agenda. Any community input this evening?
Yes. Pay attention, Carlene. I would like to say, just from somebody who loves the library and is there almost every day, thank you for a wonderful open house. That was just awesome. You should be very proud. You should also be extremely proud of what you have accomplished and know that every time you go by that place, for however many years, to feel proud that you were involved in that, to bring that to Oregon. And Jennifer, it takes a leader like you to make this happen. You understand that without the leadership that you did, and whatever you ended up having to do to get that grant, everybody should pat you on the back for that. So
We're still doing it.
we're still going, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a hard act to follow.
Right?
Wow.
Moving on to the consent agenda, amending or approving minutes from our December meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's review and pay bills and review and accept the financial reports.
I would like to have you look at the print bills in front of you, because every time we would add a bill to the list, we'd get 3 more. So if the printed list would be the list that we'd be asking you to approve this evening. There's some bills, we just broke it into bills dated in 2023 and 2024 for our accounting, but they're all for approval this month.
Can I ask a question
Yes, you can.
that probably I should know the answer to? Do we continue to pay for the library here and making sure, I mean, obviously we don't want the pipes to freeze and like things like that, or does that transition over to the village?
The village, for the 2024 budget, the village didn't ask us to budget anything for care of that facility.
Okay.
So as we transition into the new year, we'll be transitioning care there. I just notified Jeff that we'll be, that we're done with water there.
Okay.
So we can make sure that it's no longer an expense. We'll be, looking at what temperature we can set it at, but we have a few last things to move out
Sure.
before we do that. So we will be trying to get those costs off. We've already taken care of snow removal, so that's, we no longer have a service anymore, not the year's ending. So it's mostly just heating costs that will continue
Okay.
into the new year until we can get those wrapped up.
Okay, that makes sense.
I have that same question, but I also have another one. The utilities down here under Alliant Energy, new library building project expenses, that
Yes.
5,400, et cetera.
Yes.
Is that going to be an ongoing, or is that a one-time?
That, we're gonna have an ongoing monthly bill. I would say that that's not reflective of what our typical bill would gonna be. First of all, because the HVAC, for example, 2 days when we were moving, it was like 100 degrees upstairs, so the HVAC wasn't done.
Oh, wow.
So the solar panels are not connected, the HVAC wasn't done, and we had the front doors propped open for moving for a whole week
Wow.
in December. So I think that we'll see that cost, we'll see ongoing costs, but it will not be, we won't know it's typical for a little bit longer. I would also expect January and February to be a little higher just because of winter, and then still sorting out some problems. They also had electric heating below windows, and they've programmed that so that it only goes on when the temperature outside is below a certain degree, so that we're relying on the geothermal system for most of it. So they're still streamlining that. So this, I would not. Also, Tri-North will be paying for this invoice as part of construction because it was during construction phase, and that's part of our contract. But they pay for construction related utility expenses.
So it'll be a while before everything smooths out and we know what our average monthly expenses will be?
Yeah, I think by the time we approach the 2024 budget conversations, and when we're talking about that this summer, we'll have had 4 to 6 months of bills to at least give us a good prediction. There's always variation to that and whatever, but I think we'll have a good guesstimate for the coming year.
Okay.
The other thing you have to consider too is we, we don't have gas in the building, so our electric will be higher, but we won't have the gas component, so that's gonna, change the conversation a little bit too. If we are able to add extra solar panels as well with future funding, that'll also, further the needle. So we'll have to see where we're at, but this is not reflective of that yet.
Thank you.
So I'll make the motion to review and pay bills and accept financial reports.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. Moving on to 6A, grand opening celebration.
Woo-hoo!
So we just want to have a chance for people to talk about that. We had a big party and we had an amazing turnout from the community. It was so wonderful to see how many people. Our door counter said we had over 1,061, I believe, or 64 was the door count that we had that night in 3 hours, which is incredible. And we had a lot of those folks come back on Friday and Saturday. We saw some of those faces. I was here yesterday, but it was too busy, so I came back again to actually use the space. And so we've just had an incredible response. So I just wanted to take a minute to allow us to talk about that and celebrate that. Because we only get to do that once, and it's a big deal.
No, I want to just thank everybody, staff, board members, everyone who contributed to that wonderful celebration. It was fantastic. It exceeded any expectation that I may have had. And I didn't cry until I got home. So I want to just say thank you to everyone in the community that was able to attend, from near and far. We had people driving over an hour to come and see our new space. So I really appreciate everyone that turned out.
I want to thank Carlene. No, seriously. She and I stood and handed out information sheets as fast as we could separate the pages from each other.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I would say, "Good evening, welcome, thank you for coming." And then it just got, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm not exaggerating. Carlene.
It's true. It's absolutely true. It was really, at one point it was kind of funny. It was like, John, you're stepping in front of me and handing people stuff. Like, what? But we couldn't get it out fast enough. And I don't know how many times they copied more of the self-guided
Repeatedly,
tours.
over and over.
At least twice that we folded and stuffed
Yeah.
and handed out. So, they all went. It was really fun, and the idea of having tour guides was really great, but it didn't seem like it was.
I don't know.
I mean, like you
tours
gave some.
the whole
I did
night.
Yeah, but I mean, like I was supposed to give tours. It's like there's no way.
No.
There are too many people coming in, and so yeah, it was. Yeah, I heard that your tours were really great. Actually, somebody told me.
You'd
Yeah,
be walking by and then all of a sudden you'd look up and there's like 6 more people and you're like, oh, okay, now I need a flag. That's cool. No, it was, I can't even tell you, I haven't stopped smiling since last Thursday. And it's not often you get to see 3 hours of pure joy. And that's how I felt Thursday was. There wasn't a negative thing, everybody came out smiling and happy and excited to come back, and it was an amazing, amazing day, and I will never forget it. So thanks to everybody that was a part of it, and thanks to everybody that came and joined us, and thanks for all the people that planned it and organized it
And cleaned up after it.
and cleaned up after it all.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing, amazing event, and everybody should be very proud.
Anyone else? Any comments?
I had a lovely time, and I loved that I saw so many of the community members and like neighbors and people I knew, and just the opportunity to kind of, I don't know, kind of connect the things that we do in kind of a small little group behind closed doors. Not closed, obviously, you're here. But to be able to see that like kind of shown to the wider community was really, really special, I think. And not something that you usually get to do when you do this kind of public service sort of work. So it was wonderful.
Okay. Move on to the declaration of surplus.
So I'm just recommending we have pretty much everything that we feel that we need to move, with the exception of half of my office. And we just like to declare the remaining items surplus. with the exceptions of the artwork, which we haven't had a chance to sort through what we wish to keep and what's got long-term historical value, and then also the centennial desk, as well as things that I wish to keep and haven't moved, like my office stuff. But otherwise, everything else in the facility we'd like to declare surplus so we can try to start finding good homes for it.
So is there a motion to declare remaining items?
I can
Thank you,
move that.
Carly. Is there a second?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, John. Any discussion?
Do you need help with that?
We may, but we're not to the point where we know what help we could use yet, so we'll keep you in mind when we get to that point.
All in favor of the declaration of surplus?
Aye.
And opposed? All right. Moving on to the proposal for elevator phone cell service.
So we need, we have a cellular dialer in the elevator, so if anybody were to get trapped in the elevator, they could call and get assistance. The cellular phone service is supposed to be included in the previous monitoring proposal received, but it was not. And that's what you see here in your packet is to approve that. I did sign it because it was kind of important to have functioning when the library opened. But I'm just asking for your approval of that proposal.
Is there an approval? Thank you, Jenny. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Carleen and John. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the cell service in the elevator?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's go on to the Omni monitoring proposal.
And this is a correction of the previous proposal, and my understanding, their email kind of explains why, but my understanding is that there's portions of the proposal that are included in the Tri-North contract that didn't get considered when they did the original proposal. So this is gonna replace the previous agreement we had with them, and is for a lesser amount because of those adjustments to correct that.
So is there a motion to approve the corrected proposal? Thank you, Carleen. Is there a second?
I can second this one.
Thank you, Leslie. Any discussion?
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are flying through today. Proposal from Atmosphere Interiors.
So I request that you approve this proposal from Atmosphere Interiors for some select pieces of artwork, including a nice piece for the conference room. We do want to have some artwork in the library that will kind of be there for a long time. Some of these pieces are more abstract, some are a little bit more nature themed. We also want to complement this with some local artist photography, so we do have some pieces that we're trying to look at for some study rooms, and then we do have art rails, which will allow us to do rotating displays of artwork or quilts or things that will highlight local artists. So this isn't comprehensive, but it's just kind of get us started, and then we'll kind of see where we're at with the budget and the whole project and see what's possible from there. So my recommendation would be to approve this proposal.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
The wood piece, is that something that we would be looking to acquire on a permanent basis?
These would all be permanent purchases. They'd be things that the library would own.
I think it's visually stunning.
It's my favorite piece.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's got depth, dimension, color, it's the whole deal. I'm fond of it. I just go on record saying
Thanks.
that. Say that.
Is there a motion to approve the proposal from Atmosphere?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
Sure.
Thanks, Carly.
I do have a question. So on the ones that is this this is like 3 different ones?
Yeah,
like
there's 3 study rooms in the teen area, so the idea would be one would go in each of the teen study rooms.
Okay, all right, that's what I was trying to figure out, like, how that worked. Thanks.
And in addition to these permanent pieces, you say there'll be the opportunity for other area artists
Yeah,
to...
so we wanted to move forward, so we have some places that we know we want art, but haven't selected anything for those spaces yet, so that'll be something that over the next year we'll be able to select and fill those spaces in. There'll also be art rail in the reading room and the community room, I believe, so that if we wanted to do a display of local history, we wanted to do a quilt display or whatever, a local artist from 14 South, that we could do those. We just need to develop policies before we can start doing that. But those items, the art rail hasn't been installed yet, so there's definitely still opportunity for us to develop that plan.
Yeah, what a great venue for art. I mean, the walls are blank canvas, and they can be used to such great effect with good art.
And we want to be purposeful because even though we have a big space, really a lot of the walls are windows. And so there really isn't a lot of places where you can put art. So we want to just be very thoughtful because we do have pieces from the old library and we just want to make sure that we're, you know, being mindful of that moving forward. So.
Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have some art. And moving on to additional page hours.
So this is really not a large amount of hours, but it's not something we normally would have had, so I do want your approval of it. We've been incredibly busy catching up from being closed for 3 weeks in December, and we have 2 pages that are kind of subs, and so we've asked them to work some hours to both cover gaps in the schedule and also to train them in the new facility so that when we need their help in the future that they are familiar with the facility and the building and processes. We have used savings in 23 from some vacancies we had in the fall that allow some budget funds to be available for that. And then our teen librarian position didn't start quite at the beginning of January, they started today. So we have about a week worth of wages that we could put from that towards it. So it'll be covered by those, we won't be going over budget, but we did need those hours to catch up. We're still very, we're not to the point where we're keeping up with materials like we would normally want to be, which is to be expected, but it's, you know, hard for staff to not they feel a little bit overwhelmed with the high response of materials we've been getting. So having the extra help has been very good to kind of help with the volume.
So is there a motion to approve the additional page hours?
So moved.
Thank you, Carleen. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Leslie. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. Moving on to the library director's report.
I'm getting where that is in the packet, and I
It's not.
probably didn't have time to do one, so.
Just wait.
That's actually
I did a
fair.
fancy bulleted list of all the things I wanted to talk about. So the first one is I wanted to brag about what an incredible job our staff and volunteers did with moving. We saved about, not quite 50%, but the second installment of our moving bill was almost nothing because we were planned to move in 6 to 8 days, we finished in 4. And that's a large testament to our hardworking our staff who did a lot of planning and organizing. And just, I mean, we couldn't ask for it to go smoother. If we would gotten done any faster, we probably would have been in trouble because it just went so smoothly. And I just can't commend Laura and our staff enough for all their help and hard work on that. And one of the days we were unpacking books, it was like 100 degrees upstairs because the HVAC wasn't working. And so even despite that, we still got done on time. So we just, you know, have an incredible staff, and all the volunteers that helped were amazing as well. So that just went really smoothly. Also want to just mention the first week of business that we've been open about a week, so, well, not even quite a week. And we've, so just for example, the most library cards we've ever issued in a whole month was 140. And so far, in the last 4 days, they've issued 107. So, for comparison purposes. And our busiest, a busy day, like the day after school gets out, is typically a very busy day for us with everybody coming. So in June of 2023, that day was 600 people visiting. For our first day, we had 1,064. The next Friday, we had 921. Saturday, we had 651, and Monday, we had 700. So it is.
No wonder you're tired.
It's sustaining.
That's so awesome.
So, just so you know, we've just had that continued incredible response. Our staff is doing incredible, being welcoming and friendly and working as hard as they can. And people are just so positive and so wonderful, but it's just been really, the support has been overwhelming, I'll put it that way. So it's been great though. So that's just, I just want to highlight that because it just kind of demonstrates the excitement from the community and also the hard work of our staff in the same numbers. So it'll be interesting to see. I would expect the first month will be our busiest and then kind of stabilize hopefully after that, but it'll be exciting to see what's possible and new folks that are able to use the library that maybe hadn't before, which will be great. The second thing on my bullet point was study room reservations, and I'm gonna cover actually how to do that next month. Hopefully we'll have our AV and I can show you, but we've had people, like, the first day we were open making study room reservations, and we were seeing the emails come through, which was really exciting. So today I walked by and 3 of the study rooms upstairs were already in use. So it's just great to see people using the space. We also opened up the community room reservations today, so that people will be able to start reserving that. We still have them doing work on the conference room and the AV in the community room, so we don't have any AV systems that we'll be able to promise. But as long as folks are okay using the room without needing those items, that we're able to do it. We are keeping the other room blocked off for now because they have to replace a big piece of glass. Until that's done, we're gonna keep it closed. It also allows us to move a group to the smaller room if they need to work on the bigger room, so that we have a place for them to go to honor their reservation. But it'll be exciting to see those statistics come through and how many people are able to make use of that space as well. Also, we are a little bit closer, the CDS grant, we are to the point where we've spent the amount of money we need to start getting their funds applied. The village has gotten a loan, temporary loan to cover those costs until we can get reimbursed. Last night, the village board approved the community facilities agreement, which is required, and then notice of federal interest form that has to be recorded at the county. We provided all our insurance information. Now we have a 10-item checklist that we're trying to go through with Tri-North to get those items wrapped up, but we're getting closer, so the end is in sight. So that's exciting news as well. They also they attended our grand opening, and they did a press release to In Business Magazine, who called today and asked for photos. So I would expect to see a feature on a segment on our library and that support in the next issue of In Business Magazine coming out soon. So that'll be a fun feature as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's a lot.
And I bet you'll see some nice photos in the Observer coming out.
I hope so. Yeah, we had a couple of requests for photos today that surprised me, and we luckily will be getting professional photography from both Tri-North and OPN, which they don't always share that with their clients, and they're both promised to do that. So we're excited, but they're both waiting a little bit longer to do it, so we don't have anything to share for the photos right now, and a lot of the ones we took were at the point where something quite hadn't been installed yet, so it's not necessarily the photo we want to share. So we're excited to have that photography done soon, hopefully to be able to share those photos with people.
Thank you. Moving on to the president's report. I guess just 1 or 2 little items. First one is prior to the grand opening, Jennifer, Kelly, and I were able to show the State Journal around, so I hope you saw that we made the front page above the folds right before New Year's, so very exciting things there.
And we did an interview with Channel 15, who came in and wanted to do a tour and an interview, and I'm not sure if it aired or not, but Kara did an interview today with one of the channels about New Year's reading goals, so she did like an hour Zoom interview with them, so maybe that might be on the news tonight or tomorrow. So we're getting a lot of press coverage that we're not really used to.
Sorry.
Yeah, very exciting things. But that's all I have for my report. Moving on to any village board announcements, Carly.
Just to say that both the comprehensive plan and the park plan have been approved. They were approved at the December meeting, and the next couple of things that are happening are a request for a proposal went out for a downtown planning, someone to work with the village on downtown planning, and there'll be lots of opportunities for public input on that, and also the senior center plans are moving through the next steps. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Sure.
Yeah. So next steps being, the space needs analysis and other kinds of things that are pretty much underway.
We're starting with the community input
Right.
sections, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not really a village board announcement, it's a council on aging announcement, but it's all got to go through there anyway. So yeah, lots of stuff happening, and yeah, fun.
Thanks, Carly. Any
Oh, and there is no primary in the village at all in February.
What?
There's no primary election in the bill. There's this is a big election year, 4 elections.
Yeah.
Primary in February, April municipal elections, the partisan primary in August, and then the presidential and other races in November. There is no primary in the Village of Oregon, which means there are no races that have more than double the seats, and there are no Dane County primaries in February. So the first election for 2024 will be April 2nd. It's not April 1st. April 2nd.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any school district announcements?
Well, I'll say in the last week, I have been speaking to everyone who will listen about the library grand opening because it was just such a heartwarming, inspirational night. And so I mentioned it at the school board meeting and in my weekly update to the school board. And on Friday morning, I met with a student group and they were talking about it without my prompting to talk about how to reserve rooms for upcoming exams. So I thought that's exactly what all of us hoped for, right? A true community gathering place focused in on what's really important to people. So I can't say enough about what a great experience that was.
Thank you for sharing. Our next meeting is scheduled for Valentine's Day, Wednesday, February 14th.
For all of us.
Location TBD, but likely.
We're gonna plan on meeting at the new library moving forward, and I will do my best to have it set up for Dan the way that I would like to. But I will let you know, Dan, if I can't achieve that, but we're gonna meet there either way.
For the first time in 3 years, over 3 years, we will meet in the library. I'm very excited about that. Are there any future agenda items anybody would like to request?
I don't know if this is an appropriate thing for our agenda or not, but one of the things I have noticed, because we walk to the library frequently, is that one of the crosswalks to the library has light, and the other one does not have any light on it. And I obviously am not a village planner of any kind, but if we are going to have only the one street light, I almost would rather we didn't have the other crosswalk there, because it is very dangerous unless you are wearing reflective clothing.
Are you talking about across Alpine or across CC?
Across Alpine.
So I'll bring Jeff Rao and Elise Cruz were talking about making that crosswalk safer already. So
Okay.
they have a list of items in an email that I was gonna share with you after they were done. But if that's a thing on your list, I can't find the email right now.
Sure.
But I'd be happy to update you on what their plans are. And
I would love
I
that.
guess that some of those items might already be done before we meet next month. We're also talking to Amy Miller from the community. It's to help make walking to school safer for kids. I can't remember the name of the group right now, about possibly putting flags there for people crossing. And so there's
nice.
a number of items on the list that they are proactively trying to do some of those things. So let's cross-check the list, and then if there's additional conversations we need to have about goals we'd like to have, we can do that.
Thanks. I just noticed because we walked it a lot. So,
The other thing on that note too is we have to commend Public Works and Timberland, our snow removal. That was incredible today and yesterday. The people coming to the library, like, you wouldn't have known there was a snowstorm yesterday. And there were a lot of people coming, so
I
just
believe
incredible to
it.
have Public Works do such a great job with the snow removal, and Timberland keeping our sidewalks so clean for folks. It was great.
All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.